Hello everybody, so we have made it to the end of January. It's a bit cold, we've had snow, we've had rain, we've had wind, and this week there has been nothing exciting to film, to make a video of. So what we're going to do for this video, we're going to do something that we've been requested quite a lot, but I've not done it up till now. So what we're going to do, we're going to go around, look at all the tractors we've got on the farm, the ones that work for a living, the ones we rely on to do the day-to-day work. So we're just going to go around, just take a look at all the ones that actually work for a living, all the old ones that don't work, or the ones that you occasionally see just out for a bit of fun. We're not getting involved in those today. It's just the ones that actually earn a proper living working day to day. For those of you that are interested in the older stuff, there is over on the Instagram page, there is a little series ongoing, and hopefully there's more to come, of old photographs of how things used to happen here in the past. So there's, at the moment, there is old silage stuff, there's some, go back in time, there's some old combining stuff. Coming up in the future, there will be more stuff that happened here kind of 20-30-ish years ago. So that's on Instagram, so go follow the Instagram page. There is a link in the description box to Instagram, so go and look at that. While you're down there, you ought to be subscribing to this channel if you haven't already done so. So there we go. But the purpose of today's video, it's been asked for quite regularly. I've never done it. I also get asked quite a lot for machinery tours. Again, I've not done that, and I probably won't do the machinery. It just seems to me, all you've got to do is spend a year watching the videos and you'll get to see all the machines. So, you know, it's easily achieved. So what we're going to do today, I'm just going to take a walk around all the tractors that we use. It's in no order, no particular order at all. I'm just in this one. I was going to start here, but it's windy, so I've sat in the cab out the wind. I'm just going to go around the yard and see them all. It's not in any order, it's just the way it makes it easy for me to get about. We're going to cover in the video, if I remember to do it for all of them, how old are they, how long have they been here, because some come new and some have come second hand, hours worked, and basic kind of jobs that they do or have done in the past. So at the moment we are sat in a Massey Ferguson 4345. You've seen this occasionally on the channel, not a great deal. If the channel started 2 years earlier than what it did, you would have seen an awful lot of this tractor. So this was my tractor before the 5712 came, and this was my regular machine. So we'll jump out and take a look. So here we go, 4345, power shuttle. This was the first power shuttle machine we had on the farm. Up till then it was all just dry clutches. This is the first power shuttle one we had. It's 2002, so this was built in the final year of production in the Banner Lane factory. Built in February, no, built in March this one was. Built in the middle of March, and it came here in very early April as a new machine. This was what we traded in for. This was a 390 that started out here as a loader tractor, and the loader got took off, and it kind of just became a normal tractor, and it left in 2002 when this came. So I mentioned Instagram. If you go on Instagram, there is a few pictures of that 390 on there back in the old days. So we've always kind of had two main tractors since me and my brother have been here working, and we've always kind of had two. There's always been about 20 horsepower between them. So the 390 was mine, that went on, and then this became my tractor then. So this did, in the early days, it did a lot of slurry spreading. Before we had the umbilical system, it was all tankered, and this did the majority of it. It did a lot of silage hauling and mowing. When we were using a forager and trailers, it was hauling the silage. We didn't rake in those days because we just picked up behind the mower. It did all the ploughing. Any drilling, we did some drilling back in the early days when this was new, and we grew some arable crops. So this did all the drilling, did the ploughing, a bit of the land preparation, but not a great deal. Just general bits of baling. That's about it really, and a little bit of hedge trimming towards its later years, but didn't do any hedge trimming when it was new. So I said earlier on, this was what preceded the 5712. The reason we kept this, because we wanted to keep it to run the mixer wagon, which is what it does now. On the mixer wagon previous to this was a 3095, which we traded in when we bought the 5712. So this stayed and moved to the mixer wagon. Doesn't do a great deal in the summer nowadays. Does some raking, but its main job is every day in the winter feeding the cows. Currently it stands on 8,600 hours, and he's still fairly straight. It's got replacement tyres. So we changed the tyres, I think 2014. We put a new set on, they were worn out, and we are getting a little bit of rust up on the bonnet. So hopefully that's going to be sorted out this year. You can see it's going along here before it gets too bad. I'm hoping, if I get time, to sort that rust out this year. Okay, so next on the list, you've all seen this loads of times, Kubota M511 with a LA1854 loader. You've seen this loads, it's been in loads of videos. Obviously does all the loader work, or 90% of the loader work. A little bit of PTO work, very little field work. It's done some in its time. It's done some power harrowing, it's done raking, does a lot of slurry mixing, dirty water pumping, that kind of thing with the PTO. The block doesn't very often, it's not often anything's hitched on the back, maybe a trailer to get some bales, but doesn't do a great deal of field work with regards to actual tractor work. It does 90% loader work. So this is a 2018, came here new, and we traded a 4345, almost the same as the previous one, but a slopey bonnet one. So that's what preceded this, and that had a Chilton loader on. And if you go back and look in the right places, you can see the reasons why we changed to a Kubota. I'm not going through it again. If you're keen, go find it. It is there. Hours. So hours on this machine. So it's 1,870 hours on this machine in very nearly 3 years. It's almost 3 years old. Another couple of months. Yeah, 2 more months, it'll be 3 years old. Okay, so next up, 265, Massey Ferguson 265. This is our yard scraper tractor. So this is the only tractor we have here that you can guarantee will work every single day of the year. So the yard scraper tractor, if there's cows, even when the cows are out in the summer grazing, we always still sweep the collecting yard for the parlour up. So this tractor will start, so this tractor will run, even if it's only for 10 minutes, it will run every single day of the year. So you would have seen this, was it just after New Year, or around about New Year? We had the track rod end brake on this tractor, wore out. So this is the most recent kind of, so you've all seen this quite recently. It doesn't appear a great deal because it's nearly always in the yard, just doing its, you know, it does its work around the yard. So this is a 1986 tractor. It came, I'm not sure exactly when it came here. It wasn't new, but it wasn't very old. Okay, so this came here towards the late 80s. So it replaced a 240, which is kind of a, if you're not sure what a 240 is, it's a slightly more modern 135. So it's a 3-cylinder little yard tractor. So this replaced one of those. It came here to be a yard scraper, but it had to be a little bit bigger than a 240 because it was doing other work as well. When we were just farming the home farm, it did all the silage hauling in trailers. It did some slurry tanking, did a little bit of bale hauling when it was younger, not a great deal. Did also, you know, bits of rolling, chain arrowing, that kind of thing. But nowadays it very rarely leaves the yard. So hours on this machine, I did a little video on it, or it appeared in a video. Ooh, was it autumn time-ish? It was just on 10,000 then. What are we now? So we're now on 10,190 hours, and as you can see again, the paint's gone off the bonnet. It does need some work to the bonnet before it goes too bad. Before it gets holy, it needs a respray, but one of those that just keeps on going. We look after it, and it keeps going for us. Right, so next up, not a tractor, but it's the MAP Bro. You've all seen this quite a bit. This is a 1984 MAP Bro. I think it's quite an early one. It's quite an early pivot one. Don't know any history of it. We bought it in very late 2008, specifically for using it as a building when we were doing our building project of the cubicle house we were just in. So it came from an auction. We bought it completely unknown, didn't know anything about it. It was actually not running very well in the auction. We took a chance, bought it quite cheaply, got it brought home. It was actually running on a temporary fuel tank on the other side. There's the fuel pump's the other side. We stuck a washing up liquid bottle with a pipe of diesel into the fuel pump to get it home. There was issues with the lift pump. So we bought it late 2008, did nothing that winter, and in 2009 we got it sorted out, did our building project, and we wanted the extra lift capacity and the lift height the boom offered us over what we had as a loader. So the original plan was to build the shed using the MAP row, then sell it on when we didn't need it anymore. It's still here. So yes, hours on this machine. There's a clock, I can't find it, it's over there. So the hour meter on this machine says 7,600. It didn't work. That clock has never moved. So in all the time we've owned this machine, that clock has never moved. So when that stopped, we've no idea. So it's done at least 7,000 hours, and quite a few more. It's not been trouble free since we've had it, and we have had probably 2 years of inactivity out of it. The engine went, the big end bearings were spinning on the crankshaft, so we had to sort the engine out, and then year before last the gearbox played up and it needed new plates put in the automatic gearbox. That's all repairs done here on the farm, so it was just annoying and time consuming to get it fixed, but it was stuff that brother did most of it. And one time while the engine was out of action, we upgraded all the braking system, all new pipes and cylinders. So it's actually got wheel cylinders off a racing car, so it doesn't go very fast, but it certainly stops. So when it was kind of newer here, we did a lot of loading the bales in the field. We did a little bit of road work with it, but it's a bit slow. But nowadays it never leaves, doesn't leave the farm. It's not roadworthy anymore, so it just stays here. And it's still used every day. So when the Kubota's feeding the cows, this will be running around feeding the young stock, shifting bales and stuff. So it's in use every day, but it never leaves never leaves the yard anymore. Right, so next up, and often in work in conjunction with the MAP row, is the 698. So it's not a 698T, it's a 698 with a turbo. They are totally different tractors. I think the 698T came after this, but with a different engine in. Anyway, so this machine works almost exclusively in the winter with bedding machine, blowing straw. This machine gets filled by the MAP row, so these two will often work together. Again, it's an everyday machine in the winter, not so much in the summer. I don't know any history of this machine. It came from auction. I can't exactly remember when we got it. I think it was 2015, might have been 2014, around about that kind of area. Don't know any history of it, but if you can read that, it says J. Bullock Mill Farm, Malvern. Now whether that was a farmer or a contractor, we don't know. If you're in that area and you've heard of the name, maybe you can leave us a comment. This machine was bought. It was bought to go on the mixer wagon, but it's a little bit too high geared, so it did a little bit of feeding, not a great deal. It's done in its time. It's done quite a bit of pipe reeling for the umbilical system when we first got that. It's done raking, it's done mowing, it's done bale wrapping, it's done trailer work. What else has it done? I think that's about it. It's been pretty busy. It doesn't do so much in the summer now, but again in the winter it's very, very busy every day, and it's an everyday machine in the winter. Takes it a little bit easier in the summer. So these cabs are known for rusting out. All this is just surface rust. This isn't structural. This would clean off nicely. There's a little bit of structural rust down here come in, but other than that it's pretty good. This looks bad, but it's not. it's sound, it's good metal underneath there. We'll just check the hours on this one. Virtually 8,300 hours on this. I think, is it 1980? Y Reg, is that 83? Can't remember now. Early 80s anyway. I don't know what it had when we got it, I just can't remember. Yeah, so there's the 698, which kind of brings us to the end of the older machines. Now we'll go to the two big modern ones that you see most of really on the channel. Okay, so this is the one regular viewers will be most familiar with, purely because it's the one I drive the most. So the 5712 SL, they later got replaced by the S, and now they're changed again. They've just brought out a new range, the 5S, which are again newer, different to this. So this machine came new in 2017. Like I said previously, it kind of replaced the 4345, but we actually sold a 3095 in part exchange for this. This was the first tractor we had with the factory fitted linkage. We had this put on purely for rolling the slurry pipes for the umbilical system. So we put the spreader on the back and the 600 meters of pipe on the front, and you've all seen that. And hopefully, get some dry weather, we will be on slurry fairly soon, and that'll be a video coming up of that. So this does pretty much, it's done loads of jobs in its time. The only thing, it doesn't really do mowing anymore because we've got the front and back mower. We don't have a PTO on this tractor, on the front of this tractor, but it does pretty much everything else, and you have seen videos of it. Hours on this one, it's just a little bit over 1,500 hours now. In almost 4 years, it's due its service now, so it's going to get a wash and get its service done before we get busy again. As soon as we get a nice dryish day and I'm not going to be out in the wet changing the oil. So that's a job coming up. Give it a service and that will be set down for the spring work. And then finally, the biggest tractor we've got is the 7614. Now this is a 2013 machine. It came here as second hand. 2015 we bought this, so we had it on demo for, I don't know whether we demoed it or borrowed it for a few days and decided it ought to stay. Previous to this there was a 4260 which when we had it was 100 horsepower. When we changed our silage system and bought the forge wagon, we had a turbo put on the 4260 which then put it to about 120. So then we went up in power again with this to 140. So when this came, it did all the forge wagon work until we changed the mowing system, and then we put this front linkage on. When we changed the mowing, we bought the two mowers, so this now does the mowing while the 5712 does the forge wagon. This does all the slurry pumping. So you don't very often see it in the slurry videos because it's just sat in the yard, and I'm always out on the far end of the pipe. And the problem with slurry is when the pump's running, obviously I've got to be moving on the other end. I do try and get a bit of it filmed for the slurry videos and where we can. But obviously, you know, if I'm not there, doesn't always get filmed. I quite often get comments as to why don't I drive this machine. I do, but not very often. If we're busy, this is my brother's machine, or this is my brother's tractor, and then I drive the other one. It's just kind of the way it works. There is videos of me on this, but not as many as there is the other one. Hours wise on this. So hours wise, this machine is just a little bit under 3,000 hours. So it's done, I think it was on about 800 when we had it. So we took it up to 3,000 in, that'd be 6 years? 15. Yeah, be 6 years in May. We've had this and we've took it up to 3,000 hours. So there we go, that kind of, I think we've done everything. I don't think I've forgotten any. I think that's it. That should be it. So, like we said at the start, go check out the Instagram page for some older machines. Pictures, it's photographs of photographs, so I'd get them as clear as I can. It's interesting, so go check out Instagram. Go and check out, also if you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel, and hopefully soon we will get busy. Get into some spring work. It's going to get busy, so we'll see where we go. Right, so thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. A little bit different and a bit of a kind of a bit of a request video. So there we are. Hope it's kept you happy, the ones that wanted it. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.